I wanted to take the time out to make a video to explain the certain benefits and drawbacks of learning on your own and learning with the help of a teacher and a structured course. Here I'm talking about acquiring a foreign language. Now, before I get into this topic, let me give you a bit of background about myself. I am currently 27 years old. I'm going to turn 28 in March. I have lived in India my whole life, so the three dominant languages that I acquired while growing up were Marathi, Hindi, and English. So by the age of 7, I knew these three languages, not to a very good level, but I could communicate in all three. Till the age of 3, till about 21, I believe, I hadn't picked up any other language. Okay, so English remained the most dominant language, and in the year 2014, I started learning Spanish. However, before that, I must say, when I was about 15 years old, around 15, 16, I was in junior college, what in some places would be called high school. So in junior college, I was offered the choice of taking a foreign language as a subject, and between French and German, I chose to learn German. Well, German in the beginning was quite easy. I learnt it to about 8, somewhere between A2 and B1. The test that I gave for my exams of junior college for German was not really hard by any stretch of imagination, and I really did enjoy learning German because it was similar to English in a way, as in it was not a completely different language like Arabic or Chinese Mandarin that you couldn't understand anything. Plus, German is quite phonetic, and that is the reason I chose to learn German over learning French. Well, junior college went away. I passed those exams, and when I went into university, there was no option to learn a foreign language. So that's when I abandoned my studies of German. So although I do remember a little bit of German and I can speak it, I can speak it just like a beginner. I speak broken German and I don't sound really good when I speak it, to be honest. So came senior college and I got really busy studying for the chartered accountancy examinations. I flunked those, and in the final year of university I decided to learn Spanish. Now Spanish is a language that I studied with teachers. I enrolled in a formal course, and that's how I became good at it. However, that is just one aspect of it. While I was in a course, while I was learning Spanish from a very reputed institution in Mumbai, I also had a job at a call center where I was required to call the customers who were in the US. Okay, these were the Latin American customers in the US who preferred to speak in Spanish. Now, because I knew that foreign language, that is the only reason that the job was given to me. So that's one way in which acquiring a foreign language helped me in terms of a job, or in terms of getting a job. So I had classes on the weekends, and from Monday to Friday I was making calls in this call center. So I would definitely say that having teachers has definitely helped me. I had some of the best teachers in the world. Well, I can't say in the world because I don't know all the teachers in the world, but the ones that I had did a great job. So kudos to them. I can now speak Spanish to a pretty decent level. The highest I've reached was a C1 certificate, which is given to you by Instituto Cervantes. So I definitely give a lot of credit to my teachers in reaching this level. That being said, now I must give some of the drawbacks. When I just enrolled for my Spanish class, I observed that the class for beginners was the class that was most packed. Let's imagine a pyramid. It's wide at the bottom, and it narrows as you go to the top, right, till it reaches a point. That's how it exactly works with language acquisition. So when I was in the institute and I was learning the language, I saw that beginners comprised a chunk of the students. And as and when the levels got tougher, more and more people started dropping out because they thought that this was not their cup of tea. So although it is very useful to have teachers guiding you and teaching you in a systematic and methodic manner, there is actually no substitute for grit, there is no substitute for work ethic, and there is no substitute for perseverance. These three things I don't believe are genetic. Yes, we have an IQ that is genetic, that is fixed at our birth, and maybe we can change it through certain exercises in the course of our lifetime, but work ethic and being persistent and determined is something that your teachers can't coach you. And that's the reason why, even though I had some of the best teachers teaching me, not everyone who I started the course with ended up at the last level. So I do believe that there are certain benefits to having a teacher guiding you. But now let's talk about the drawbacks. The drawbacks of taking language classes is you start using the teachers as a crutch. What do I mean by this? I mean that you believe you cannot learn until the class has started. I remember watching a video of a very famous polyglot. Her name is Lydia. I can't pronounce her last name. I believe her mother tongue is a Slavic language, and she is a conference interpreter, or was a conference interpreter, or a simultaneous interpreter. And she said one of the signs of a very good student is that this student is very curious to learn new things even before he is taught that. What happens in a lot of language learning classes is students are waiting for teachers to give them information. So they believe that until the teacher doesn't give you the information, or until the teacher doesn't give you the lesson, you really can't start learning, which is not really a beneficial mindset to have if you are going to be a good learner. I had the fortune of coming across one student during an examination who gave me the information of this application that exists. It's called HelloTalk. It allows you to connect with speakers from different countries, and if they are learning X language and Y is your native tongue, you can switch languages, you can have a language exchange. That also helped me immensely. In fact, I found a professor from Spain who helped me learn Spanish, or who coached me for my Delhi exams. And the only reason I was able to get in touch with him is that someone recommended this application to me. So one big benefit of going to those classes and giving that exam was finding that one stranger who appeared during an examination and told me of this application. So that helped me a lot. But a pattern that I can notice in most students who take language classes is they are very dependent on a teacher to help them understand the language. Now, yes, teachers do play a very important role. I wouldn't be able to speak Spanish the way I do were it not for my teachers. I agree completely. However, the lessons that your teachers give you are still not a substitute for the amount of input you need to consume in your target language. You need to hit a certain threshold of input, and this varies from person to person. So I can't give a figure that, okay, these many hours means you're this good. It can vary from person to person, but you really need to reach a certain threshold of input in your target language. Now, this can be listening to audios, watching videos, or simply reading. One of the three is good enough to do the job. Once you do that, that's when you can really start using the language without having to translate in your mind. Although I've reached C1 in Spanish, if you watch my videos, you'll still see me struggling for certain words. So you'll know that this is not second nature to me, and it's still not what Spanish would be for the native speakers. So I do struggle with that, I understand, but that has not stopped me from making videos in Spanish. And if you're learning a new language, be free to post your videos from day one if you feel that's what's appropriate. Of course, you are going to look ridiculous and people can definitely make fun of you, but that really shouldn't bother you, because you are not showing that you are the expert in this language. You are showing yourself as a beginner, and you are showing the process of acquiring the new language, and you're documenting it from day one till the day you reach a sufficiently good level. What tends to happen in the internet is that bullshit tends to sell really well, right? So the truth isn't really very appealing to most people. If you tell most people that learning a language is going to take you hours and hours of study every day, you're going to have to be very consistent day in and day out, and there are going to be days where you feel like you're not really making any progress, though you are, but it's just not that visible. Most people may not want to learn that language. Most people just look at some marketing or promotional video that says, hey, learn this new language in 3 months, or learn this new language in a month, or maybe 6, and they say, wow, if he could do it, it must be true, maybe I can do the same. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible to learn a language in 6 months, but there are really some conditions to that. Let's say you've acquired a foreign language which is a Romance language. Let's say you've acquired either French, either Portuguese, or either Spanish. Now, if you've learned one of these three languages, French, Portuguese, or Spanish, let's even add Italian there. If you've learned one of these four languages, acquiring the next language is not the same as learning that same language from the beginning, because Romance languages are quite connected. So if you know French, there's a good chance that learning Portuguese or Italian or Spanish becomes easier. And I have experienced that, because currently I am learning French and I have acquired Spanish to a decent level. So I can definitely see the benefits of learning Spanish spilling into learning French. That being said, it is very hard to acquire a foreign language to a good level. And the reason that now I'm choosing to learn Turkish on my own is I do not want to have that mentality of being dependent on a teacher to foster my education. I wholeheartedly acknowledge the role of my teachers who taught me Spanish in bringing me to my level. That goes without saying. But the reason I've started Turkish and I've started documenting the process from zero, and I'm showing everything in acquiring Turkish from zero, is there are a lot of people who work jobs that may not allow them to have structured classes. There is an application called italki which allows you to hire a tutor for about an hour or two, or whatever you pay him or her for, and you're done with that. But that's not the same as having a structured course and a syllabus, right? As we are shooting this video, I'm working a regular 9 to 5 from Monday to Friday, right? So even I admit I cannot dedicate myself completely to learning Turkish. The idea behind shooting these videos is to show the process of acquiring a foreign language from the beginning. It is lovely to see a polyglot speaking in many languages, and when you see the certain polyglot speaking in many languages, you are enamored, and sometimes you might put this person on a pedestal, think he is more talented than you, when that may not be the case. What you have not been privy to is the hours and hours of work that has been put in by this person to reach that level. So the idea behind making these videos is documenting the process as from the journey of being a beginner to reaching an intermediate or advanced stage. Now, to be honest, I'm not really sure how long it will take me to reach an intermediate level in Turkish. Maybe by the end of the year, maybe by the end of 2 years. That's not important. What is important is I document the journey. I show you everything that I've done so that you can see that a certain system works. This is not a gimmicky sales video. This is not a gimmicky promotional video. I do plan to make a product by the end of this process. Now, I will put that product on the market only when I reach a decent level with Turkish. Currently, I'm a beginner, so people know that I don't have any authority in teaching, acquiring a foreign language without tutors, right? I acquired Spanish because I had tutors. Of course, I put in efforts of my own too, but now I'm trying to prove that it is possible to acquire a foreign language to a decent level on your own, which is called being an autodidact, right? I assume that's the right word. So do follow me in this process, because at the end of the process, if I can show you that I have acquired Turkish, which is a foreign language, without any tutors, that could possibly inspire you to follow my footsteps and maybe improvise on my own methods, who knows. So do follow this journey. At the end of this process, I do want to make a product and release it, which basically talks about language acquisition in general. As and when I document my progress, as and when I shoot these videos daily, weekly or bi-weekly, however they may be, I am going to document whatever I learn, and at the end of the day, whatever I learned will be available for you in one product. And if you don't wish to purchase that's fine either. Watching this video and watching this series or my process of going from beginner to intermediate is more than enough. And as we are shooting this video, more than 16 minutes have passed. So if you've been watching this video up to this moment, I'm really thankful for you. You've given me 16 minutes of your life that you're not getting back. Thanks a lot for watching these videos, and do stay tuned, because I am going to upload more videos of acquiring a foreign language. In this case, for me, it's Turkish. I speak English, Hindi, Marathi, Spanish, and a little bit of French and a bit of German. That doesn't count. It's A1, A2. Turkish has nothing to do with these languages. It is a completely different language. So it is going to be interesting acquiring this foreign language, and it is going to be very interesting showing you the work, effort it takes to get to a good level. I'm at a beginner stage right now, and I'm really excited to share this process with you. Thank you so much for your time. I'll see you in the next video.